In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the alternator on your Dodge Ram. It's located right here on the top side of your engine. Let's go ahead and use our 3/8 wrench. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this nut and remove the terminal. I'm going to go ahead and spin off the terminal and just go ahead and set this aside. Lift up on our protective boot here. Now that we have our boot off here, we're going to use our 10mm socket on our gear wrench. And loosen that. And simply grab that terminal and then twist that up and off. And go ahead and set that aside. Using our 3/8 socket, we're going to go ahead and loosen and remove this bolt holding our expansion tank. We're simply going to take our expansion tank, lift it up, and we're going to spin it around and set that to the side. Let's go ahead and use our 3/8 end here, and we're going to put it into the tensioner, and we're going to push it to the right. That loosens the tension on the belt. Go ahead and work that belt off, release the tensioner, and continue to remove the belt. On the back side of the alternator, there are two connections we need to undo. There's one connector right here. We're going to simply pinch the tab on the top and wiggle that connector off. Disconnect that connector right here. On the back side here, there's a gray cap. Pinch the two tabs on the top. That's going to expose the large nut on the top here. Remove this nut using a 13mm socket. Go ahead and disconnect that power cable there. Using our 1/2 inch, we want to go ahead and remove these nuts here, securing this bracket in place. Now we're using a thin 16mm wrench, and we're grabbing the stud on the back side because the nut and stud was spinning at the same time, not allowing us to get that bracket off. Go ahead and pull the bracket out, set that aside. We're going to use our 15mm socket, and we're going to remove this bolt here to the left side of the alternator and the one just to the right side of it. I'm going to go ahead and use a small pry bar and go ahead and persuade this up and out. Go ahead and remove that unit, set it aside. You got to make sure that our aluminum here is clean before we install a new component. Going to bring the alternator over. That lower bolt lined up. We're just going to get that started a few threads. Line up the other bolt and do the same. Just get it started a few threads. With both of those bolts installed, let's go ahead and snug those down. I'm going to come back with my regular ratchet, and we want to make sure that that's good and snug. Bring this harness around the back side. Put that on and install the nut. Using a 13mm socket, want to go ahead and snug that nut down. Just want to snug it, not super tight. Pop our plastic cap back on. Take your harness here, feed that around. I'm going to press that on. You'll feel that snap into place. You can get your bracket installed here. Line that up. Going to get the nuts installed. And there's one bolt here that goes in the lower right section of that bracket. And let's go ahead and snug these down. Now I'm just going to come back with my ratchet and make sure those are nice and snug. Now that you have your belt run around all of your pulleys as it should be, we're going to put our tool into our tensioner. Bring that up. Get our belt popped on and then relax that. You want to go ahead and double check every single pulley that is run around on a ribbed pulley, and double check, make sure that is on there all the way, and see that my belt is not on my tensioner here or on my idler all the way. So I'm just going to take that slack off, push that belt on. Check, make sure it's on the harmonic balancer all the way around. It all looks good. Check that tension. You should be all set. We want to install our expansion tank, putting these two blades into the top part of the fan shroud, and line this up. Now if you have your bolt and your metal retainer clip here, go ahead and install your bolt and snug that down. In our particular case, the bolt was damaged and our metal clip was rusted and broken, so we're simply going to replace it with one of these expandable plastic retainer buttons. Go ahead and line these up. Push these down into place. Now our battery terminal bolts were a little corroded. We went ahead and replaced it at this time. If you tighten this here, that bolt can be weak and break even while you're on the road. Go ahead and tighten down the positive bolt here. Slide that boot on top. And go ahead and tighten down our bolt here.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.